Hello, everyone. Is the Prophet Michael David, aka Aries, and I hope everyone is at least keeping warm. That's what I'm trying to do. It is cold here. All right, so not to bury the lead, but obvious today, this video is going to be about the roughly 4,000 year Cold War between the tribe of Joseph and the tribe of Judah. So for all you lay people out there that haven't seen my other videos, Tribe of Joseph, I'm claiming to be the reincarnation of Joseph, eldest son of Raquel, the patriarch of the tribe of Joseph, and the tribe of Judah, that's Jewish people. That's the descendants of Judah, the fourth born son of Leah, whereas Joseph is the firstborn son of Raquel. Okay, that screenshot of a YouTube video is Manis Friedman. Some of you may know him. He is one of the more well-renowned rabbis on YouTube, and I like him. I've learned a lot about him. I've seen a whole lot of his videos, um, but in that specific video, when he was talking about the history of Joseph, eldest son of Raquel, he just butchers it. Um, Giving him Jewish qualities, calling him viceroy when he was ruler. No, I assure you, Joseph was the ruler of Egypt. He might have still had to take orders from the Pharaoh when the Pharaoh wanted to give them. But for the most part, the Pharaoh was just a figurehead, a god king. And he sat on that throne when he wasn't raping his sisters. So Joseph was very much the ruler of Egypt. He ran the whole country for 70 to 80 years. Other very horrible habits of at least YouTube rabbis and everything is that they call everybody a Jew when that's not true, to a blasphemous point. So I'm going to do this in kind of like analogy and everything. If you've ever heard the Hanukkah song by Adam Sandler, it's a good song. It's funny. He goes through and details a lot of famous Jewish people, especially some of them that most people wouldn't know. But there's this part in the song where a picture of O.J. Simpson comes up on the teleprompter, and he says, O.J. Simpson, not a Jew. So this is my kind of ode to that. All right, here we go. Number one, Abraham, father of nations, patriarch of all three Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Not a Jew. His wife, Sarah, not a Jew. Their son, Isaac, not a Jew. His wife, Rebecca, not a Jew. His brother, Esau, not a Jew. The Isaac's son, Jacob, he who is known as the first Israel, not a Jew. Jacob's 11 out of 12 sons, not a Jew. So in reality, who was the first Jew, hands down, to ever walk the earth? It's the tribe that they're named for, Judah, fourth born son of Leah. That's who the first Jew was. And just to clarify the worst translation of Manis' story about Joseph, about that his brothers beating him up and tearing his Technicolor cloak off and selling him into slavery as some sort of a test, and it was good for him. No, they planned to kill him until Reuben said, hey, maybe we shouldn't kill our own brother because then we'll be the new Cains, and father's God will surely destroy us, which is true. And I would agree, because I've read it myself, that in the Bible, at least my translation, everything, that Judah says, yeah, we should probably not kill him as well. But honestly, like I've said in my last video, or the End Times Jewish Prophet video, it's obviously that the Torah has been changed. It's not immutable. It has been changed. And so that situation kind of rings out that Reuben, as the firstborn, says, we should not do this because otherwise we'll be cursed like Cain. And then Judah was like, yeah, or something, or that's just something that they added. But I assure you, they were going to kill him, all of Joseph's brothers, minus Benjamin, because he was still little and living at home, were going to kill Joseph, murder him. And then Reuben said they shouldn't do that. So instead, they just beat him into an inch of his life, ripped off his Technicolor cloak that Jacob made for him, and then sold him into slavery. That's exactly the story. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers. He was. All right, one last anecdote. Also, it's pretty obvious from very early on that the tribe of Joseph was compelled to split into two sub-tribes, the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh. And there was no need for them to do this. It's, like I said, I definitely sensed the brothers in all of this. But they too had blessings from Jacob, but they were allowed to keep both their blessings, but they kind of gave up their Joseph blessing by splitting, in which I think the brothers had a hand in that. So all of a sudden, the 12 tribes became 13 tribes. All right, moving forward in time. So Joseph dies. He's embalmed, put in a sarcophagus in a tomb, even though it doesn't say that in the Bible. And although before he dies, he prophesizes the Exodus, as I've said before. So now we're going through time, through the Exodus, through Moses. You guys all know this story. Past the Red Sea, past the rebellion, 40 years in the desert, and now they're sitting on the east side of the Jordan, across from Jericho, and Moses dies there as commanded by God, and Moses is replaced, his successor, also anointed by God, as the successor. His name was Joshua, son of Nun, and he was from the tribe of Ephraim. All right, a lot of people know the story of Jericho and some other ones, but eventually the Israelites did just conquer the entire area of, at that time, called Canaan. And that map that is the thumbnail that I'm going to post again right after this is the map of how the land was divvied up to the tribes by Joshua, son of Nun, according to the allotments given in like Deuteronomy. Firstly, and most importantly, I would like to point out that the land allocated to the tribe of Judah on that map does not include the city of Jerusalem. So why is that important? Well, it's important because in Deuteronomy again, where the description of how the land was supposed to be allocated by Joshua, son of Nun, to all the tribes except the Levites, I don't want to get into it right now, because they're the priests. It's stipulated a couple different times that while land could be sold by individuals and stuff, eventually would have to be given back during the Jubilee. It's a whole Hebrew thing. And that how it states it is the stakes of the boundaries of the tribe's lands were immutable and could not be changed. It was so that one tribe couldn't absorb another tribe. And as you can see from that map, the land that did contain Jerusalem was allocated to the tribe of Benjamin, who was the second-born son of Rachel, which is probably one of the main reason why the United Kingdom of Israel's, that's what they called it, their first king was Saul, and he was from the tribe of Benjamin. And that Saul was the same one that King David didn't get along with, and so David had to flee to the town of David, also known as Bethlehem, until Saul and his son died when they fought the Philistines in battle, and the Philistines took the ark for a time. Different story for a different day. But eventually the next king became David, and that's where I'm going to answer, so what happened that cursed the current Jewish people so? And real quick, just to make this more efficient, or some people that haven't watched some of my other videos, up to this point, the Hebrews, they were still Hebrews at this point, had never really had a Jewish leader that had led them. And we'll just start with Moses and Aaron. They weren't Jews, they were Levites. And then, as I said before, his successor, Joshua, son of Nun, was from the tribe of Ephraim, and Saul was from the tribe of Benjamin. So up until David, they had no Jewish kings at all. And everybody knew about these blessings from both Jacob and these really recent blessings pretty much from Moses. So then David comes over and becomes King David, and he becomes the first Jewish king of the Hebrews. They only ever have two. And everybody knows about these blessings, and especially the Moses blessings were pretty recent. Everything that he blessed the entire tribe of Joseph and included Ephraim and Manasseh properly, and he didn't just bless the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh on their own. So everybody has these blessings, fresh in their mind, and then David writes this. King David in his famous Psalms. Um, if you read that, if that's not propaganda against another tribe, I don't know what is. And honestly, I thought David wrote all the Psalms, but he didn't. And that one isn't really even attributed to him. It's attributed just to some servant, some guy, some Levite that worked for him in his court, just to like impress his boss or whatever. And here's the guy. And the tribe of Judah went all in on this interpretation. So eventually, King David dies, and the throne is fought over by his sons, but Solomon takes over, and he's their second Jewish king of the Hebrews, and another very famous, but those are the only two. And when Solomon dies, he creates a power vacuum. So, from the tribe of Judah's point of view, that psalm, and I guess some other evidence that they would bring or whatever, meant that they got to be the king of the Hebrews forever. But all the other tribes, all of them, were like, no way. You guys don't get to have the kingship forever. And then that was why the 12 tribes broke up. The Jewish people had this interpretation that they would be the kings of the Hebrews forever because of that psalm written by, a rapist and a murderer. And yes, David was a rapist and a murderer. If you don't think so, look up Bathsheba. And as was his son Solomon. Again, there was other suitors for the throne after David died, his other sons, but they died, which means Solomon killed them. And with as many women that as Solomon had sex with, in the power differentiation, you cannot consider all of that consensual. So the tribe of Judah only had two Jewish Hebrew kings, and both of them were rapists and murderers. So then the United Kingdom of Israel broke up into the Kingdom of Israel to the north and the Kingdom of Judah to the south, which included the city of Jerusalem. And the why they call it the lost 10 tribes, like the math kind of seems weird because 10 and then 2 remained behind, and the 2 that remained behind were the tribe of Judah, obviously, but the other one's weird because it's the tribe of Benjamin, the ones that owned the land for Jerusalem. And you wouldn't think, well, why would they get along? But basically all that happened was because of the Saul thing and some other stuff that I probably don't know about, the tribe of Benjamin was going through like a little mini coup d'etat civil war. And so the tribe of Judah basically told them, join us or we'll push you out the door with the other 10 tribes and let you fend for yourself. And so blasphemously, they absorbed the tribe of Benjamin, including their land, which is forbidden. All right, then some of you are real keen that I said before, the 12 tribes, because Joseph split up into Manasseh and Ephraim, shouldn't there be 13 tribes? Very good question. The 10 tribes consisted of all the other 10 tribes and about half the Levites. Half the Levites did stay in the area because they were bound to the ark. The other half must have been so mad that they should have stayed. They are bound to the ark by accordance to the Torah, but that's why it's only 10 tribes. because the Levites didn't have any land, because they're always the priests, the ones that took care of the tabernacle and the ark. So, but all the other 10 went to establish the kingdom in the north called the Kingdom of Israel, and the southern one was the Kingdom of Judah. And I'd be asking, well, why, if they had Jerusalem and the temple and the ark, why wasn't it called Israel? And that's because also it's in Genesis. It's the blessings of Ephraim and Manasseh by Jacob, who was the first Israel, that basically says that only you two tribes can take and use the name of Israel. It can't be used by any other tribes, which kind of makes you think about modern day, huh? I realize now, because of the time, that this is going to have to be the first video in a 2-video series, maybe 3, who knows. But before I sign out, let me just say, up to this point, even though the tribes had split up into 2 separate nations, and thus the Hebrews were no more. And that's why I said Solomon is the last Hebrew to ever walk the earth. After the tribes split up, no more Hebrews. They just have their individual tribes. But the current tribe of Judah, Jewish people, weren't totally screwed and forsaken as they are now until the next part happened. And that's going to have to be for the next video. So up until now, with the splitting of the kingdom, Hebrews are no more, just have different sects of tribes, but they haven't committed like original sin yet against the Lord. Real quick, I mean, original sin for them, like the thing that got them to be exiles in the first place for the next 3,000 years. All right, signing off. That wasn't a bad one. I'd actually feel warmer now. But as always, rule number 1, do not touch other people without their consent, aka do not hurt each other. And rule number 2, it's all about honesty. Lies are ticked down, aka try not to lie. All right, y'all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.